Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Backyard Blacksmith channel. Today we are going to talk about where you can find your materials cheap or even for free that you can use for multiple projects when it comes to blacksmithing. Let's first start, for example, about how to get an anvil. There are many ways of doing it, and one of the easiest and, in my opinion, cheapest ways to get started with an anvil is basically with a piece of railroad track. It's not perfect, but it works. I made my anvil for here in my backyard, as you have seen in previous videos, from it. Just because my 50 kilo anvil is still back in Holland. But it's a nice and cheap way to start with. Now the question is, where can you get it? Well, frankly, where you can get it is, well, either at a junkyard, for example. You basically pay well, kilo price for the metal. It's sometimes they are just basically kind of, you want that. For us it's just in a way, you can get it for under a cup of coffee, for example, the price being that. Or sometimes you can even get it for free if you just know where to look. It's sometimes hard to find, I have to admit that. I was just lucky when I found my piece of railroad track for my anvil. I was just lucky because I helped with the community, with cleaning up in the neighborhood. And well, in the evening when I locked down the container for cleaning it up, there it was. So it's sort of getting lucky, but it will work. But that's not all, because, well, what kind of steel do you need for blacksmithing? Well, there are many different types of steel, iron, not all as good for certain projects or tools. However, when it comes to practicing blacksmithing, so just getting to really get a feel of the hammer and the blows and what to do and all that kind of stuff, I would just suggest get some rebar. Like, well, this is a big piece. This is a 16 millimeter piece of rebar. I got it from work because, well, else it would just be scrap and would be taken away to a junkyard anyway. Might as well take it. And you can often just go to a construction site where they are working with, for example, concrete and doing all the reinforcement of the concrete. Just go in there, talk to the foreman or that kind of stuff. Ask them kind of like, hey, do you have some scrap metal that I can take off your hands? They will be happy to supply you with it. It's no problem, because they have to pay for all of the scrap they send out to scrap yards and all that kind of stuff. They are paying basically for getting rid of their materials. So if you come and take that away from them for free, they'll be happy, you'll be happy, you'll have plenty of material to practice with. Another thing said on that is you can also find stainless steel rebar. The fun part about stainless steel is there's chrome in it, and if you, for example, want to make a knife or something else that you don't want to rust, stainless steel can be the way to go. However, special point about rebar and such is it is made out of scrap metal, so you never really know what's in there. That's also why it's hard to work with rebar and knowing if it's hardenable or not, because every piece of rebar is just made out of scrap materials. So there can be anything in there. It can just be iron, it can be carbon steel in there. Carbon steel is good for hardening, but you never know with rebar because it's just scrap metal they use to make it. However, if you do get the stainless steel rebar, you have a bit more purity in it, basically. But still, hard to come by, it's expensive. You won't find many of those scraps at a junkyard or at a building site. But there are plenty of other opportunities. For example, these, I've got two of them here right now. These are old car springs. perfect steel for knives, for example, or anything that you really want to be hard and hardened for tough jobs. The beautiful thing about these two are, including 3 items I will show you in a bit, I bought those for 10 kroner. In Denmark, 10 kroner is about the cost of a cup of coffee. Just by going to a junkyard and asking, hey, do you have some material I can look at, like car springs and that kind of stuff, they'll be happy to oblige, because well, else it will just go to waste anyway, and if they can help you out, they'll happily do so. So definitely go for look for that, because when it comes to the car springs and such, you can cut them up to lengths that you want, and as soon as you heat them up in the fire, you can bend them straight, and you can hammer it any way you want. And the beautiful thing about the car springs is you can harden them in water as well as oil, depending on what you make. But I will discuss more details on that in a later video, because else we can keep going forever. So other options are, for example, saw blades. You can also find those at construction sites. They will just throw them out as soon as they cannot use them anymore. They will just put it in the scrap bin. Yeah, these are normally made out of a carbon steel. Carbon steel is also hardenable. You can make many things out of it. You can also layer it. You can make Damascus steel out of it. Basically anything goes with it. It's a beautiful material to work with. Takes a little bit of care and work, but yet again, we're here of course in the getting started with blacksmithing courses and videos, so I will definitely cover that in a later video as well. But yeah, there's only so much I can do in a video. So moving on, because you might be wondering, okay, what kind of pipe should I be using for my forge, for example? Well, also there, scrap yards, awesome, or construction sites, because this, as you can see, is a pipe. Perfect thick steel pipe with, well, I would say about a 3 or 4 millimeter thick steel that you can use for example, putting your leaf blower on, or any other air generating device on to heat your fire. It will take a long time for that baby to heat up, and as I said, it's just scrap metal. They are not going to use it. Why not just use it for yourself then? You can either get it for free or for a really small donation, I would say, basically. Now, and then the last example, right now at least, of something that you will be able to find if you look around enough, are these. And these are parts, well, basically the cutting blades for a grass mower. They are also carbon / spring steel that you can really good harden to make a knife out of, or a gardening utensil, like for example a hoe or that kind. You can make a lot of things out of these, and as soon as they are dull, most people just throw them away. Tell your neighbors, if they have one of these or that kind of stuff and they want to throw it out, tell them, hey, if you're gonna replace your blade, give it to me. Why not? Just use it for blacksmithing. It is basically, well, how to say it? There are so many ways of getting your scrap materials that you can put to good use. Also for practice, but also for making your tools or whatever you want to make from it. Knives, tools, hammers, for example, is also possible. For example, when it comes to these springs, you also have the bigger versions of it. So really thick coils. Perfect for making axes, hammers, you name it. Or tools for blacksmithing. So that's basically what I want to give to you guys today with this video. I hope it helps, and if you have questions, do ask. Definitely do ask, because I love to help out. Other than that, I would just ask you to share this channel, subscribe, and well, see you guys to the next video. Bye bye.